enough to drive them to the table.
But do you believe that there are ways short of military action, which is terrifying everybody who looks at that as a real option, are there ways short of military action that are significant enough to change the outcomes?
Susan, I don't know that we know the answer to that question, but we should certainly undertake to see if it is the case. Given the substantial downsides of a military action against the North Koreans, and the administration, I think correctly, has not taken military action off the table. But given the substantial downsides, which have been widely discussed, the United States and the international community should pursue aggressively a set of measures short of military action that include pressure. Now, in the Iranian example, and these are never perfect parallels because the Iranians wanted to become a much bigger economy. It was an economy in a country that wanted to integrate with the world. The incentives were different. But we were able to develop a set of sanctions on Iran that were regime-threatening, essentially, and brought them to the table for a successful negotiation in terms of their program. So, can you guarantee success? No. Do I think that there's a substantial space for additional pressure? Yes. Should we undertake those steps? Absolutely. And it may cause us, by the way, to demonstrate to the Chinese that there are going to be costs for them to pay, and put them in, and we will put them in strategically uncomfortable situations as we go forward in terms of a pressure campaign. I think the time is now, though, for substantially ramping up the pressure on the North Koreans. And again, we have things like interdiction programs that we can put in place. We have things like secondary sanctions on financial institutions and banks around the world who have any dealings with the North Koreans that we could put in place, which are very successful with respect to Iran. We have the ability, I think, to thicken our missile defense systems in the region, and we have the ability to work more closely with our allies here. And we should do all those things, I think, moving forward here to try to bring the North Koreans to the table on a reasonable basis.
So I'm struck by a couple things in this opening conversation about North Korea. Number one, we haven't really